Oh, hi. Did you hear that?
I did.
Good. That's proof because Zoom hasn't been, or I don't know where some of the recordings have gone lately. I don't know. But okay, Danny Schwepp slash Danielle Elizabeth.
Hey.
So close.
Slash Blue Cottage Mommy.
Slash Blue Cottage Mommy, right. So close to hitting SSD. We can taste it. And we love watching you grow, and take this in the right way. We love hearing your pain. Like, I am done being a star director. I am ready for SSD because you're already living it, eating it, breathing it. All you're waiting for is that ridiculous title, pretty much, and for the numbers to align, right? All of us have been there. I can't even tell you how proud it makes us to hear you go through that because A, it means you care. B, it means you're freaking on it. And C, do you know how many star directors we have in our organization that haven't reached out, shouted out, even given 2 cents of an iota? Because they don't know their numbers like you do. So we're so proud and impressed and inspired by how far you've come so fast, and we mean that. So we thought, oh my gosh, share with us the good, the bad, and the ugly. So what we would love is for us to hear a little bit about what the heck have you been doing, what's gone really hipster cool, and what not so much. Your turn, go.
Okay, so I guess backstory about me, I joined February 9th of 2016. I was in my third trimester with my second baby, and it was one of those things that either I was going to have to make this work or I was going to have to go back to work. And going back to work with a toddler and a soon to be newborn baby was not an option. I was not having it. So I joined Scentsy during a transition month. I joined strategically, like I knew ahead of time that I wanted to join. So my very, very first day as a consultant, I joined the night before, was World Tour Orlando. So I ended up going to World Tour Orlando for my very first day. I was pregnant. I didn't know anybody. And I remember sitting there, they're all like, Scentsy, Spirit. And I remember thinking, oh my God, what did I do? And there's Kool-Aid somewhere. But you very quickly kind of start drinking the Kool-Aid and you get into the Scentsy spirit and you figure out why everyone is so gung-ho crazy about this Scentsy thing. So anyway, so joined February 9th and I was director by the end of that same April. So it was just kind of one of those moments, and so much fun. And I didn't even really know the potential, like I did and I didn't. Of course I saw people that were successful and all I knew was I want to be like them. And I didn't know what that entailed. So I just kind of nose to the grindstone, started doing anything and everything to see what stuck. So the vast majority of my personal business is on social media. I do a lot of Facebook parties. I do a lot of like in the mail pouch parties. So I do that. And I'm really big on sponsoring. If you don't have a sponsoring hat on, you need to put it on. If you want to be one iota successful in this business, you have to get over your fear and your doubts of sponsoring. I guarantee you're overthinking it. Okay. I guarantee that whatever is holding you back from sponsoring someone, you're overthinking it. Even if you're brand new, girlfriend, if you're brand new, that just means you literally just went through all the steps yourself on what to do in starting your business. You know, it's been 4 years since I went through all those steps. So when people are like, hey, how do I do this? I'm like, hey, hold on. I got to remember that, So if you're brand new, you literally so you're probably more qualified to walk them through those first few steps than I am right now. So whatever your excuse is, whatever your fear is, just get over that right now and tell yourself, I'm a recruiting rock star. I want to share this opportunity. And I don't share the Scentsy business because I want to make a ton of money or because I want to grow my team to like huge numbers or this, that, and the other. I share my Scentsy business to each and every single person because I know what Scentsy's done for me. I know the potential that Scentsy could do for somebody else. I know that they're going to have so much fun, that they're going to be a part of a community that they're just going to wonder, where's this been all their life? So that's why you offer this. If you're doing this because of you, you're doing it wrong. You need to do it for them. You need to figure out what it is that Scentsy would do for their lives. And then that's why you offer it. So always offering the opportunity. And then of course, during a month like this is like the best excuse to be like, hey, by the way, have you ever thought about this? And most of the time it's just being intentional with it, you guys. Have you, like, when's the last time you actually asked somebody, like asked someone, like with intention, brought it up to somebody, whether it's like the last few parties that you closed, did you ask them if they wanted a hostess kit? The last couple of big orders that you've had from customers, or the 10th order that you've had from the same loyal customer, have you turned around and said, hey, you order a lot. Have you thought about doing this? If you haven't, girl, you're doing it wrong. Okay. So you have to, if there's any success to be had, you have to start changing your mindset on recruiting. And then once you get this team that you lovingly build, you've got to make sure that you're leading them from the front, that you're never asking them to do anything that you wouldn't be willing to do. And that you're not already currently doing yourself. You need to be there to not spoon feed them, and not handhold, but guide them in a way that they know where. So like, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man a fish, feed him for a lifetime. So the same kind of thing. If someone says, well, I can't find it. Well, instead of saying, well, hang on, I'll find it for you, say, hey, have you tried looking in X, Y, and Z? So figuring out your leadership style and becoming the leader that you wish you had. If you have a sucky sponsor, that's zero excuse. Do you know how many big leaders I know that have zero sponsor or zero upline support? And that's not you, because I know y'all have Danette and Ken, and they love on you a lot. So if you say, well, my sponsor just kind of left me high and dry, or they're already gone, or whatever, it's not an excuse. You get to learn how to be the person that you wish you had, right? So finding a vibe, finding a community, and finding a mindset that says, whatever comes, I'm going to be ready for it. I'm going to tackle it. I mean, you could look at this pandemic and say, these are all the reasons why I can't work my business right now. Or you can say, these are the reasons why I should. Right. My husband was furloughed for over he still is technically. He's been furloughed for over a month, and thank God. He has told me so many times, thank God for our Scentsy business. Because of times like these. Is this something we ever predicted? Absolutely not. But here it is. And we've worked our business so that even during this pandemic, we've thrived, which has been absolutely incredible. And then the other big thing too, is when you think about up and coming through, and this is something that I probably struggled mindset wise as I've grown as a leader. When I became director, especially so quickly, I'm like, okay, I really want to get to superstar director. Like, I was zeroed in on that title. And and we hit star director numbers or above. We went anywhere between 30,000 to over 80,000 in GWV every single month for 3 years as a director team, not star director, as a director team. So for 3 years, we were hitting SD or SSD GWV for 3 years. You know how frustrating that is to go, we're doing the things, but we don't have the directors, right? And for a while there, I was letting it boggle me down and get frustrating, like Danette said. And I think where my mindset changed is, you know what? I'm probably making paychecks that are more than what some SSDs make. Okay. I'm probably making paychecks that are more than what some SDs make. And what does it matter if I have that extra S or extra SS in front of my D? What does it matter? And then in a June, we ended up popping another director out of nowhere, and we did promote to SD. I've never actually, this is a fun fact, I have never promoted during an incentive season where I've ever gotten promotion points. And I expect SSD to be the same way. So I've never gotten promotion points for anything, but you know what? It doesn't matter, because I'm getting the paychecks, and that's what I care about. You know what I mean? So you need to be constantly growing your front line. You need to let the idea of a title go. Why do you want a title? What is it about the title that attracts you so much? Is it the money? Because girlfriend, you can make the money without the title. Is it the notoriety? Is it that, what is it? Because there's so many other ways to gain notoriety that you have control over. Being an excellent leader, earning annual sales, earning annual mentor, earning your incentives, doing all this thing, just being a kind freaking person that contributes to our Scentsy community. All of that will earn you notoriety. You don't need an SSD or an SD or a director title.
Yeah, you guys, everybody's muted. So if you have a thought or a question for Danny, unmute yourself. And Danny, I love hearing you say that you just let it go once you, because we've been there. And those of us who are there's a big transition. And those of you who are in this shoes, you know, there's a huge transition from director to star director. Bigger transition from star director to superstar director. And seriously, the ones who hit SSD and sustain it and get paid that title, because it's not just a guess. I guarantee you it's in our organization. You are making more than some of our SSDs because they have a title, they don't have the rank. They have a title, but they don't have all the numbers. And so the fact that you're doing it the way you're doing it is going to be so much more sustainable. That frustration comes with the glory. So those of us who have been stuck on director, where you feel like, oh my gosh, I've been director for so long. I promise, once you hit director and then you get to those numbers, and we've said it before, our magical numbers within our organization is roughly 40 to 45 to hit director. You can hit director with 2 people, let's be honest. That can be a fluke. But to hit it and really, really have earned it, that earned it's not right word to say, because you earned it even if you did all your PRV, but to have earned it with a family or with a team is roughly it's 42 to 45, but 40 to 45. And then in our group organization, it's roughly 55 to 58, sometimes 60 to sustain it. And then once you get going, once you feel that, then it feels like, I don't know, 25 years before you hit to star director. And then like you said, you just got frustrated, but then you stopped, you reflected, you soaked everything in, you were a success sponge about people around you. So it's really rewarding to see, because you said at the beginning, I forget sometimes what I've gone through or what we've experienced. And it's fun to share that with our team members when we are trying to ask them to do something that we've done or wouldn't do. We wouldn't never ask them to do something we haven't done or aren't doing, right? So that's just 2 cents. It's not a question. It just is. And I don't mean it to celebrate your frustration. It's just, I just know there's big things ahead of you because of that right there. It's just been proven model over and over and over. So you're just doing it a lot faster than most. Anybody have questions?
Me. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Danny, it's good to see you.
Hey, Brennan.
I have a burning question about, and I've struggled this for a long time. I used to teach kids. So kids is one thing, but adults. So here's the scenario. We just went through 2 months of major sales. If you just give a little tiny bit of effort, just a little bit of effort. How hard, on a scale of 1 to 10, and then you can talk more about it, but how hard do you push your people? How, I've heard Chloe Batard talk, and she really gets her talks. She gets to swearing toward the end, and come on, people, God damn it, and just that kind of thing. How hard do you push? I know Danette's got a great way with a soft hammer of staying very positive. And how about you? What do you do with your people that basically do next to nothing?
So when it comes to people working their businesses, I tell them, look, your business is yours. I'm not going to work it for you. I can't force you to do anything. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink Scentsy, right? Or sell Scentsy. So when you look at your team, it's, to me personally as a leader, it is easier to go out and recruit 5 new people than it is to drag someone across the finish line with you if they don't want to do it. You know what I mean? So if you're having, and this kind of goes from the start, if you feel that you're having to convince somebody to even start their business, don't bother, because you're going to have to convince them to host a launch party. You have to convince them to get active, and it's never going to end. You have to let people carve their own path, and honestly, especially last month, if you had 0 in sales, you had to be trying not to share Scentsy. I mean, I personally, and I don't say this to brag, but I personally had over $5,600 in PRV last month and in April during a pandemic. I mean, there's zero reason why anyone should have had 0 last month, or not at the very least have been active. And if you don't want to get active, that's fine. And you've got to realize as a leader, there's probably so much more going on behind the scenes that you don't realize. Like there are frontline. I always reach out to my frontline, especially if they're on will cancel, and I connect with them each month on, hey, new month, we're so excited, any goals this month. And sometimes you get crickets, or sometimes you get kind of like half answers. And I don't push too much, because there's a lot of times where you just don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Like, for example, there was a frontline of mine, who, she wasn't extremely active, like vocally within our team page, but at least I would get some kind of response from her if I reached out, and I just wasn't getting a response. And so my fear was, oh, I hope I didn't upset her. I hope I didn't make her mad, but I just kind of gave her space. But I still touched base on a regular basis like I normally would. If she replied, great. If not, great. But she wasn't replying. And then finally she sent me a message, and she's like, Danny, I can't thank you enough for continuing to reach out, even though that I haven't gotten back to you. My spouse unexpectedly passed away, and I haven't known how to deal with it. And she's like, I don't know what this means for my Scentsy business. I'm going to try to at least stay active, but I don't know how to get back into the swing of life yet. So again, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. There are people that suffer from mental illnesses, or depression, anxiety. Sometimes there's just stuff you don't know that they're not ready to share with you. So it doesn't matter what's going on. You just need to, it's not your job to force them. It's not your job to make them do anything or work their business for them. It's your job to be there and be kind, and it's your job to still touch base. It's like when we say, okay, we need to follow up with our customers. Well, what if you don't hear back from your customer? Well, does that mean you stop doing your job as a consultant? Your job as a consultant is to make sure that you touch base and they feel taken care of, right? Whether they get back to you or not, that's not your job. You did your job. Same with your team. You touch base as a leader. You make sure that they know you're there when they are ready, and whether they get back to you or not, that's their job, not yours.
Love. And it's so true. You're so smart. Michelle, do you have a question? We have a couple of questions that have come on from, it's so funny, Danny, because Ken set this time, which we try to do evening ones because we have Australians and they're on in the morning. So they're in bed right now. And then the Pacific time, they're not getting out of bed because 2 of them just commented, said, well, I have a question, but I want to show my face. Isn't that great? But so I'll ask you those. But Michelle, did you have a question? Or Bonnie, another question, because you guys get first priority because you made it happen. You showed up live.
Yay. Bonnie asked that question, and that was one of the things I was really concerned about, because I don't have a very large team yet. Building a team wasn't something I originally wanted to do when I first started in Scentsy. But it's just been, I think I'm harder on myself because, like you said earlier, when someone doesn't respond, you think, oh my gosh, did I do something wrong? Did I offend them? And I have 8 people on my team, and only 2 of them actually reply ever. And the other 6, they come in and out of active, but no one ever replies. So that was kind of my thing where I was going to ask, similar to Bonnie, is, what do you do with your team? Do you contact them on a weekly basis, a monthly basis? I am of the kind of mindset that I would think, oh my gosh, I texted them and I haven't heard from them for an hour, a day, a week, maybe I'm not doing enough. So, and I have the same mindset as you. I can't run your business. I have to run my own, and sometimes that's a challenge. So my people do know I can't run your business for you, but I am here. So that was, My biggest challenge, PRV, I know I can do it if I just set myself to it and work on my own business. But the team, being a leader, is where I'm struggling right now.
So, okay. So you recognize that you're in charge of your PRV, but you're also in charge of the team aspect too. If you look at the fact that you're in charge of how many people you recruit. Okay. So those 8 people are not the only 8 that you're stuck with. You
Right.
get to go out and you get to feed in and bring in that new blood at any time. Right. So that all is within your control as well. So just acknowledge that is also within your control. It's not just those 8 people. And when we say that, for every 10 conversations, you get a yes, right? On average, right? Well, I would use that same equation and say for every 10 people on your team, you get 1 that actually wants to do something. So the fact that you have 2 and 8, that's pretty good. So you need those hobbyists, those people that kind of keep those numbers kind of beefy, because imagine if everybody was a runner, you would have the opposite problem, right? You wouldn't. So
Right.
I saw recently yesterday, she had initially promoted to star director, and then she had 2 people pop as directors, right? So she promoted to star director, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, a 3rd popped. Well, guess what? Now she's no longer a star director because her TWV wasn't high enough. So she had to work those last several hours of the day to get that TWV up like 4,000 GWV. And anyway, so like if everyone was a runner, you'd still be in the same spot because you would be suffering in an area. So, you want those people that are kind of like the meat and potatoes of the hobbyists or the people that just get active or whatever. Those aren't bad people. You just got to recognize them for what they are and make sure you're not wasting time on them in the regards of constantly chasing after them. Like, obviously you want to reach out, you want to let them know you're there, blah, blah, blah. But obviously you're not going to spend the same amount or the same quality of time with those people as you would with the ones that actually want to run and do something. So you can't be the person that kind of sits by the phone and you're just watching and waiting for them to answer you or respond. You got to keep going and recruit somebody that wants your time, because there are people out there that want your time, and you've got to recognize what they are and then give them that appropriate amount of time. So again, you've just got to acknowledge, did I do my job? Did I reach out to them? Did I touch base? Do they know that I'm there? Am I doing my job as a leader and making sure my community, like my team page is where I want it to be? Ask if there's leaders that you emulate, go ask them like, hey, would you mind if I ever added to your team page just to kind of get a vibe of what you've got going on in there, how I kind of want to set mine up. Get inspiration from other leaders that you admire so that you can start becoming that and becoming your own version of that. And as far as how often I reach out to my team, my Amy is very helpful. So it prompts me to do beginning of month, mid-month, end of month, where I send a text message. I do a team newsletter at the beginning of the month, and it's basically just a team version of my customer newsletter that I create. I do shout outs all the time. I just try to make people feel recognized and acknowledged on a regular basis. And I really encourage engagement and kind of giving more than they take. I let them know that our team page is only as good as what they contribute. It's not a one-man show. So if they want things to be better, then figure out what it is that we need and provide. And, they need to provide that. So it's not just me that they hear. Wow, I'm going to start sounding like Charlie Brown's teacher if it's just me. Blah, 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 blah.
So true. And
Thank you.
And I know you do walk the walk too, because I get to see it. And so here's a question for you, Danny. Let's see what I just came up, and it was so great because you were talking about. Oh, just a minute, okay? I'm processing it, and okay. So I'll ask this one. So many. How often, or do you know your team numbers?
Oh yeah. So if you don't already have a planner, so I use the Scentsy planner because it's Scentsyfied. And I mean, specifically built for our businesses. So every single day I write my numbers. So I'll show you. So in the planner here, you've got your numbers. So every single day I write my numbers. And then one of the tips that Jennifer Anderson had said during a training video that I loved was to write down, like at the top, what was launching that month, or if there was a spike in a day, like make a little side note, like, okay, we launched Jack this day, we did the Cinderella carriage this day. So when you look back and compare this day of this month to the same day of the same month last year, you can go, okay, well, why was there like a $10,000 spike here? Oh, okay, we launched Cinderella carriage, that's why. Or, okay, we had our Scent of the Month go out, or Scentsy Club go out, or whatever. So you're able to look back. And let me tell you, if you've been doing this for a while, like Scentsy as a business, and if you feel stuck or you feel like you're in a rut, pull out your planner, because if you've been writing down your numbers and you get to look and you look back at where you were this time last year, it's so inspiring to be like, okay, this is how far we've come. Because maybe you feel like you're in a rut because you're comparing yourself to success that you see from others. But when you look back to your journey and where you came from this time last year, you can go, okay, we are doing well. We are moving forward. We have done this. And it just kind of puts you back in the right perspective.
Yeah, and we said, and what we say is just like that. Most people don't realize the potential of the business, and they join as hobbyists. I joined just for my own juice. And our motto is, if you're making money, it's a business. You just probably don't know it. So we may start it as a hobby, but anyone who's making money doing something that they started, what they invested money to start it, then that's a business. I don't care what you said. So numbers are profound and way over looked, I think. So I love to see how diligent you are.
And I used to think of myself as not a numbers gal. I remember when I went to boot camp, my very first year. So I joined in February, hit director in April, went to boot camp that October, and that's where I met Danette and Ken for the very first time. And Ken like pulled out his computer and he's like, look at all these numbers. And I remember thinking, huh? You know what I mean? I had no idea like I knew that I hit my PRV requirement. I knew what my team size was. I knew what my GWV was and what it needed to be. But all the little things and stuff, and that's not something you have to be savvy in right off the bat. It comes with just experience, but being aware of not only your numbers, but like your up and coming leaders, things like that, because there's times where I'll reach out to somebody and be like, yo, you're like 400 GWV away from promoting to star. What? Really? Yeah, because people don't pay attention to their own numbers. And then now they know. And if you give them enough of a heads up, if you've been paying attention, if you tell them like the last hour of the month, I mean, nothing's probably really going to happen. But if you let them know like a week ahead of time, like, hey, you're getting this close. Like, for example, I had someone reinstate just a couple of months ago. She used to have a Scentsy business, just didn't work it. It wasn't an interest to her. She messaged me and she's like, hey, I'm thinking about coming back, but if I do, I want to actually like have a real go at this. And I'm like, okay, great. Let me know when you're thinking about coming back. We'll plan a relaunch party. We'll do all the things. So she came back. She double promoted to star that same month. And then the month after, which was last month, she promoted to superstar consultant. And then I messaged her. We had like, I don't know, a week and a half left to go. And I'm like, girl, do you know how close you are to director? And she's like, are you serious? I had no idea. And guess who became our third frontline director with a team of 11?
Wow. Wow. Good PRV too then.
Like
Machine.
Like 2,000. I mean, it wasn't extravagant. I mean, but she had like 5 people on her team with over 2,000 PRV. Like they were hustling. And then she even had one of her frontline promote to superstar consultant. But this is something that they wouldn't have even known to do had I said, hey, you're this close to director.
Yes. See, sometimes they think, not necessarily your gal, but sometimes they think they're just in it for a hobby. And then you reach out and say, did you know? And you're all, this is so much more than a hobby. Oh, because everybody, I don't care what earth you came from, everybody wants to grow. Everybody loves to improve. It's just human nature.
If you have someone that says, I just want to do this for a hobby, that means that what they're thinking in their head is, I know they're successful people. It's just that wouldn't happen for me.
Yeah, I'm afraid. I'm scared. Yeah, they might be too afraid to succeed. So that is their little guard that they're putting up.
Yep.
Okay, next. Oh, Michelle has a question.
Really
No,
quick. So when you're talking to your team, and this feels really awkward to me to share what my goals are for myself. Obviously, in order for me to promote, I need my team to work. How do you share with your team what your goals are for your own business that obviously include their success? Because when I share, this, hey guys, I want to get to a director team, it's, and again, I'm dealing with a smaller number and I know that, but I want to get on a path of habit of doing this so that I know that regardless of who comes in and out, it's just what I do. But how do you share what you want to do, where you want the team to become without making it sound like it's all about you?
So you start substituting the word I for we, okay? So if you say, I want to be a director, you start saying, we want to be a director team. We will get access to communications from home office. We will get access to special training by me going to boot camp in the fall or in the spring. We will be able to officially register as an official director team and be recognized as such within Scentsy. So you start making it a team goal and letting them know that what they do contributes to that. And so it's not an I, it's a we. So like even right now, I've told our team, we are one frontline director away from becoming a superstar director team. We are, so you start using the word we instead of I. And then when you do use the word I, it's when you show them that you're in the trenches and doing the same things that you're asking them to do or recommending for them to do. I have a goal of X amount of PRV this month. I have a goal of X amount of parties this month. What are your goals? Or showing them how you're working. Okay, guys, it's the first of the month. I've got my calendar here. I've got a goal of 5 parties this month. What's your goal? What kind of parties are you hoping to book? So showing them that you are doing it first, and then you're recommending what it is that they're doing. So we have a $20 join special this month. I have a goal of sponsoring X amount of people. What's your goal for this month? So letting them know that you're doing exactly what it is, because the last thing you want your team to think is that you're sitting there, riding a wave or riding coattails and they're doing all the hard work. No. You need to show them that you're in the trenches and you're doing the work with them right alongside them. And then when they come together, that's when we become a director team.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We have time for one more question, and there's 6 or 7. So couple of them are the same, so I'll ask it as much as I can combine the couple. How would you compare your sponsor language now or your sponsor comfort now to when you first started? How has it changed, and what are some things that you find are the most comfortable ways for you to sponsor?
Okay, so when it comes to sponsoring, I did an expo booth on sponsoring and what to say. So what to say in May. So basically what you would want to do is, if you are approaching someone that has shown interest already, or if you are broaching the subject with maybe a really great hostess or a really great customer of yours, it would be something like, if it's a really great customer, hey, you order a lot and you would keep your own self active. Have you ever thought about doing this before? Just so you know, we have a $20 special going on. Or if it's a hostess that you're closing a party. Okay, so we just did your party. Here are your rewards. And just so you know, you can actually use that product credit towards a $59 join kit and earn it for free, or it would cost you this much because you earn this much product credit. Is it ever something you've thought about? Because we could do that if you want, and then use the rest of your rewards to kind of customize anything else you'd want. Or if it's someone that's coming to you saying, hey, give me some information. I'm kind of interested. I've been kind of thinking about this. You just keep it down to a script so that you don't word vomit on people, and you let them know, okay, I'm so excited that you're interested in this. It's $99 to join, or it's $20 to join, or you can do a host to join kit. You let them know whatever it is that's going on that right then. That includes, and if you're telling them about the $20, that includes a nightlight and a bar. That's $26 and full size product value right there for $20. Includes your 5 catalogs, your 20 testers. It also includes the first 3 months of your website. After that, it's just $10 a month. All you need to do is sell $200 every 4 months. It's just 3 times a year. And if you're unable to do that, you just go inactive. There's no cancellation fees. There's no penalties. And that's it. There's no stock required. So is there any questions that you have? And at that point, they've got the information they need to know. And then now you're having them tailor the rest of the conversation to what interests them. Because if you start talking about money or trips or this or that, you could either overwhelm them, freak them out, talk about something that doesn't motivate them whatsoever. But when you ask what questions do you have, they're obviously going to ask you things that are going to pertain to them.
Okay, I'm so glad we have a little extra few minutes, and I was muted. All right, here we go. This is gonna finish with a big bada boom, Danny. I'm making a rhyme.
Okay.
Why do you want to be an SSD? Why do you want to be an SSD?
Why do I want to be an SSD? Me being an SSD means that we've had at least 4 directors emerge. I know what being a director meant for my family, as far as paychecks, as far as self-esteem, as far as feeling great and helping someone else change their life. And if I'm an SSD, that means that we've had at least 4 people that have changed their lives with becoming a director, not to mention all the other people that have changed their lives with friendships and community and feelings of self-worth and recognition and all the things that goes along with being a Scentsy consultant. I mean, that to me is kind of the biggest thing.
Oh, hooray. Okay, well, we're pretty much out of our time, and wow, you really are so natural at how you share your heart through all your experiences. There's more questions, mostly from our Pacific timers, which is funny. So Robin, woo, you got up. Impressive, sister. But Danny, we are so grateful and appreciative for you taking the time away from all that you do all the time for your team. And it is so fun and a crazy blessing to be on this journey with you, to watch you through your ebb and flows, because you're not a quitter. And that diligence is such an influence to many, 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 many more people than will probably ever let you know. So I know we're appreciative and grateful. And thank you for doing this. And if you guys have any extra ending thoughts, chime yourself in. You're all unmuted. There.
I got in late on this.
Thank you, Danny, so much. You are one of those ones I emulate to be like. So don't be surprised if you get a message from me in your voice, in your messenger.
That's Michelle Martin from California. She's up early.
Yes.
A-okay with me.
I'm up early.
Thank you so much for your expertise and your candidness and authenticity. You really, really emulate all of that. And we're so appreciative. And we're so proud of you too.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Bonnie.
it's fun to watch you grow.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Okay, now you guys are going to be witnesses as I stop the recording, because I have it